A lot of people migrate from Jamaica maybe 20 years or 25 years ago. When they migrate from Jamaica, they left no investment in Jamaica. And when I say investment, there's no property in Jamaica, no housing, no land, no nothing. They may had a rental property, but of course they had to, give up their rental property. Some may have, you know, sold their home and migrate overseas. Uh, you haven't returned to Jamaica in between 20 and 30 years. Some may have returned to Jamaica. Now, if you decided to, to return to Jamaica, it would be best for you to have an idea, what you want. If you haven't returned to Jamaica in a long time, like 20 years, 15 years, I would advise anyone take a trip. Take a trip to Jamaica, get to familiarize yourself with the country again, because Jamaica is not the Jamaica that you left 25 or 30 years. There's a lot of improvement that is done in Jamaica. You may be surprised. You go to Jamaica and like, wow, there's a lot of improvement. So going back to Jamaica, um, you have to be mindful. When you are migrating, you have an account in Jamaica, maybe with NCB, Scotiabank, or Jamaica National. When you're overseas for such a long time, you can still send money to your account. Yes, you can wire transfer money to your account, or you can do, you know, account transfer to account. But if you migrate to another country from Jamaica and you decide that, you're not going back to Jamaica, so you actually, took everything out of your savings account, and you bought, the currency that you're going to migrate to the country in. So you have to remember that if you return to Jamaica and, your bank account is not being active for a while, and then you return to Jamaica and want to activate your account, the best thing to do is just open a new account. That is easier to open a new account because they basically, are gonna have you, get lots of form to fill out. They want to find out if you're, if it's fraud. So the best thing, is to just get a new account. Now, you want to return to Jamaica as a returning resident. Do you have a home in Jamaica? When was the last time you actually visit Jamaica? Visit Jamaica, get to, familiar yourself with Jamaica some more, get to know Jamaica all over again. Or if you've been traveling to Jamaica, like, you travel every 5 years, every 10 years, or you go to Jamaica maybe every 2 years, you visit Jamaica. That is really good. At least you're familiar with the place. But if you would migrate from Jamaica and you have not returned to Jamaica, I would advise anyone to get themselves familiar with the country. Go visit Jamaica. Now, if you had, left family home, sold your property, or you gave up your rental and you want to go back to your family property, you've got to be mindful that you haven't been in Jamaica for 20 years. So the room that you were in, it's not your room anymore. Now, if you plan to go down and you're just going, you don't have anywhere to stay, but you're going to Jamaica, you're gonna stay in the Airbnb until you can find a rental, to call your own, until you can, purchase something. So remember that you have the internet to your disposal. So what you can do is go on the internet, look into properties, and you have to be considerate also that you had a driver's license when you were in Jamaica. Now, when you migrate to the country that you migrate to, You follow all the laws and all the rules and all the regulation because you could not flash your Jamaican driver's license or your international driver's license and get your driver's license in that country. You have to do their test. You have to do, either they let you drove around in a parking lot, wherever they let you do, whatever they let you do, you have to do it to get their driver's license. So whether you have a Jamaican driver's license or it expired, or you don't have a Jamaican driver's license, you have to remember that when you go back to Jamaica, you have to follow the rules also in Jamaica. Your driver's license expire 20, 30 years. You cannot just go back to Jamaica and flash that driver's license and said, hey, I want to renew this driver's license. I've been driving overseas for 30, 15, 20 years. You got to follow the rules and the laws in Jamaica also. Yes, you're from Jamaica, you were born in Jamaica, but remember when you migrate overseas, you follow every step. Now, if you're not able to find your TRN, you need your TRN to do business in Jamaica. Yes, you do need your TRN. You have to go get your TRN and you have to prove it's you. How are you going to do that? They will tell you what to do, what document you need to get signed and stamped. You got to go do that. So there's no need for you to return back to Jamaica and be frustrated. No, there is no need for that. Being fed up and you sorry you go back to Jamaica. No. If you want to put a taxi on the road in Jamaica, you also have to follow the rules. It's a process. I guarantee you it's a process. Okay. You do not have a vehicle for yourself in Jamaica. You have to use public transportation. Or you go by the taxi. No, you have to remember that. And it is so sad that the buses in Jamaica, they run and schedule. Yes, they do, but do they follow the schedule? No, because by 12 o'clock, the buses have to be at certain location, 1, 2 o'clock. They have to be a certain location, but you have to remember the traffic also. So you're going to feel a little out of your comfort zone from time to time when you return to Jamaica. But just think of it as you're on vacation. So whatever you do when you decided to return to Jamaica, whatever you do, just make it fun. You plan to go to the bank, make it fun. You plan to go to the store, make it fun. I guarantee you it's gonna be fun because remember Jamaica is a destination country. So returning back to Jamaica and being upset and complaining, remember you have to get yourself back into society. You have to learn Jamaica all over again. Everything is different there. Places, there was no business place at some places in Jamaica, and their business place there, yes, they're actually business place. There are roads that have never been there and there are roads there. So the country, there's a lot of improvement that is done to the country. You may go back home to your parent home, to your grandparent home, and then when you go there, tall buildings, you're like, when did these buildings put up here? Things have changed in Jamaica. And you may return back home, as a returning resident who retired, as a young person, you're not retired as yet, but you decide you're going back to Jamaica. You're going to take a leap of faith and you're going to return to Jamaica. That's a good choice. Now, when you do that, as I say, you have the internet at your own disposal. Whether you want to live in the country, you want to live in the town, wherever you want to live. You want to buy a house, you want to buy a property, or you want to you know get a house that is unfinished, so you can move them ready into your house and take your time and fix up your house. But you have to be mindful that do not return to Jamaica and expect it to be the the Jamaica you left. No, things have changed. And you get accustomed to doing business overseas. You walk into the bank, you're in and you're out. And you have to remember that, when you migrate overseas, things done differently overseas because people, they using their debit or their credit card. They go to the ATM a lot in the, international country. In Jamaica, a lot of people, the senior citizen, they rather go into the bank. So when you go to the bank in Jamaica, you're gonna, the system gonna be a little slow. So if you're gonna compare, the bank in Canada, in England, in the United States, in Italy, Germany, or France, or even China, it's fast paced. You gotta remember it's Jamaica. I'm not saying the bank, they're not working fast enough, but you become accustomed to a certain lifestyle. So you got to remember that you have to go back to Jamaica and adjust because when you migrate, you have to adjust. Things were different for you. You have to adjust 100% when you migrate. Yes, you did adjust. Now, do you return to go back into the field that you were doing in the country that you were living? Or do you decided to, do business for yourself? Or do you decided to, take YouTube seriously? Now, if you're going to return to Jamaica to, do whatever you want to do, you have to remember it takes time. So if you're in the corporate world and you go back into the corporate world and things are not working the way you want it to work, you have to remember it's just as when you were overseas, it takes time. Give yourself at least 5 years to get back on your feet. Because when you were overseas, it takes as much as 5 years to get yourself on your feet and to get a vehicle. Some, you may not get a vehicle at 5 years, you may get a vehicle at 10 years. Some may never get a vehicle. And at the same time, you have to be patient because remember, it's a Caribbean country and it's a beautiful Caribbean country. So you have to go back with a mindset that you're going back to Jamaica. Why are you going back to Jamaica? Because you missed Jamaica, you feel safe in Jamaica, it is better to live in Jamaica, it is easier to live in Jamaica. Now, people are saying it is expensive to live in Jamaica. Why is it expensive to live in Jamaica? If you live in the US and you go to the store and you spend $1.25, that's just $1.25. In Jamaica, you may have to go and spend, I'm just going to, off the tip of my head, maybe $160 or $180. And you're saying, wow, that is way expensive. Now, the value of the US dollar to the Jamaican dollar, that's what you're getting. So, you know, saying it is expensive to live in Jamaica, the value of the dollar in the country, and you have to remember that the Canadian, the US, and the UK, they value more in Jamaica. So when you're gonna pay something for $2,000 in Jamaica, what is the value of 20 US in Jamaica? 20 Canadian dollars, you know, 20 UK dollars. You got to, it's the value for the money. So I wouldn't really say it's expensive to live in Jamaica. Why would I say that? And then I'm like, Oh, I pay $1.25 for this in the United States, or in Canada, this is what I pay for this in Canada, and here it is in Jamaica selling for $5,000. It is the value of the dollar. So when you change a $1 US, a Canadian, or a UK money in Jamaica, the value is different. You get more money for the dollar in Jamaica than here. So I it is expensive to live anywhere in this world, anywhere. And do not be afraid because you're thinking of returning back to Jamaica, but you're, you know, hearing all the negativity about the crime rate, shooting. Look around where you live. Look around where you live. Turn on the television, look at the news, and see if there's anything different. Schools in Jamaica are very safe for children to go to the school in Jamaica. It is very safe for you to go to a church in Jamaica. Yes, it is safe for you to go to church in Jamaica. You can go to church in Jamaica. You're safe in the church. The food store in Jamaica. It is safe for you to go buy your food in Jamaica. It is safe. I guarantee you it is safe. But do not be discouraged that you want to return to Jamaica, but the crime in Jamaica. Look around in the country that you're living. Now, there are other people from right across right around the world are going to Jamaica to buy up Jamaica. I'm not sure if there's any more space in Negril. Negril is filled with overseas investment. And at the same time, we are going to complain that the government is selling out the country. No, the government is not holding anyone's hand, taking them to Negril and Montego Bay and said, here, take this land. No. People from Germany, from France, the US, Canada, the UK, from Ghana, from Africa, from Nigeria, they do their research and they realize that Jamaica is a nice place. You're free in Jamaica. Jamaica is a very nice place. So they do their investment, and what they do also is the value of their money, how much it value in Jamaica. So they sold their property, they locked up shop, they sold everything, and the money that they had, they came to Jamaica and they invest, and that is what they do. So it's not a matter of they taking away Jamaica from the Jamaica people. So go get a piece of the pie for yourself. And remember, when you are in Jamaica, your destination, you're on vacation. So whatever you do, enjoy doing whatever you do. You're doing your laundry. You no, you have to remember, first thing first, you're a Jamaican. You leave Jamaica, you migrate for 20, 25, 15 years, 30 years. But remember, when you left Jamaica, you may have left Jamaica as a baby, you may not remember things, but if you leave Jamaica as an adult or a teenager and you have to hang the clothes on the line, have fun hanging clothes on the line, that is the best dry. Do not complain of not having a dryer. That's the best dryer. Do not complain you want a washing machine but it's too expensive. Okay, go to the store, get yourself a container, and get a washing brush. Make up a little stand around the back and wash your clothes and hang them on the line. Now, you may have a washer, you may not have a dryer. Ask someone to come put up a line for you. If you can put the line up yourself in your yard, please go buy some ropes, tie them from one limb to another limb, get some clothespin, some clothes peg. It's the same thing. Hang your clothes out. Have fun doing it. You have a home in Jamaica, you return to your home, or you buy a property and it want to clean up. Have fun doing it. Do not get turned off. Whatever you do, you have to have fun doing whatever you do. And do not go to Jamaica. Do not return to Jamaica. And sorry you returned to Jamaica, by you're not fitting in. Jamaica is, you've outgrown Jamaica. No, you don't outgrow Jamaica. And yes, you are fitting in society. Of course, you are. You're up and about, you're on the street, you have to go buy food, and the line in JPS is long. You don't have to go to JPS to pay your bills. Pay your bills online. When you go to the internet company, the lines are too long, they're slow. You don't have to go into anywhere and pay any bills. Stay right at home. And when you go to Jamaica as a returning resident, one of the things I would advise you to do is to get the internet. Once you have the internet, you are good. And when you return to Jamaica, also, if you had a home in Jamaica and or you were renting in Jamaica, and when you were migrating, you did not pay those utility bills, and you're going to walk into NWC, you're going to walk into JPS, they're going to tell you, ma'am, you have an outstanding bill here of $30,000. And you're like, when did I accumulate that bill? It's 30 years ago, 25 years ago. And that is going to drive you crazy. And then you're going to say JPS is a thief. National Water Commission is a thief. No, they are not. Remember, you walk away, leave those bills, so you got to pay them. Now, before you return to Jamaica, as I say, do your investigation. Go on the internet. Make sure that you want to live somewhere where you're comfortable, because a property is an investment. And if you already have a home in Jamaica and it is not in the ideal community that you want it to be, sell. Sell, sell the property. And before you sell the property, identify a property that you need. You want to buy a piece of land, you want to get a house that is already built, identify somewhere and get your house put up for sale and sell it. You may have a piece of land there that it's not in the ideal community that you want it for. And also, if you inherit, land from your grandparent, from your parent or your granduncle or your aunt, and you want to go build in it, that's a good idea also. You may not want to go build on it anymore, you may want to sell it. So that is something you have to take into consideration also. So when you're going to Jamaica, you have to plan. And if you have children taken back to Jamaica who is in school, take a trip to Jamaica 1 or 2 years before you go to Jamaica, and you're driving up and down, and you have no idea what to do, where you're going. Go on the internet, look into schools. You may not able to afford the private school in Jamaica, but they are good primary school, they are good basic school, kindergarten. It is kindergarten in some country, it is basic school in Jamaica. So you may not able to afford a private school in Jamaica, but they have good primary school in Jamaica. Get a list, make a list of the things that you would like to get done when you're in Jamaica, because you don't want to take your trip and only take your trip for vacation. Now, there's a difference. You're planning on going back to Jamaica. Now, you visit Jamaica because you want to, just visit to see what the place is, all about. You want to see what the property you have there look like. You want to visit a home site. There's a land selling. You want to go look, check it out. You want to check out the area in general. Everywhere in this world is safe and is not safe. You may not like the community. It's maybe too far. It's maybe too much with too much people. So it is up to you. But take a trip. Go to Jamaica. Visit some of the school that you think you want your child to go to. When visit a church that is close to where you're staying. Don't just go to Jamaica and just go to vacation and just visit only the resort. You're not going to live in the resort when you decided to pack up 2, 3 years from now to live in Jamaica. No, you won't live in the resort. Your kids, they will not go to school in the resort. I can guarantee you that. No, they won't. So when you go to Jamaica to visit, before you migrate home, visit Jamaica and visit the community. It's not the ideal community you want to go back to, but visit the area that you want to go buy a property. Are you, considering renting? Because if you're not able to buy a property immediately, then you have to rent. And you may be staying in an Airbnb. Is it worth it? Will that take out of your savings that you want to put into your rental? Also, if you can stay with a family member and pay them the rent, that is good. But do not be discouraged about not returning back to Jamaica. Jamaica is a beautiful country, and remember, Jamaica is a destination. Yes, it is. It's a vacation. Jamaica is a 24-hour vacation spot. It is. Why do so many people book their flight destination wedding in Jamaica? Why? Because it's a vacation country. So we as Jamaican, we are fortunate, we are lucky to call a vacation, a destination island as our own, as our home. So there's no need to complain about, people from overseas are buying the properties and they're opening business there. No, not at all. If you're young and you want to take a leap of faith and return to Jamaica, you have nothing. You're not in the age for pensioners yet. You may have a little saving because I know you're not going to just pick yourself up one day and just jump on a airplane and just get off at the airport and look left and look right and said, this is it. Hey, you have some people out like that. They're willing to take chances. But if you have a little saving and you want to go to Jamaica, hey, go to Jamaica. Do not be discouraged. But you have to remember you have to follow the laws and the rules in Jamaica like any other country. You have to follow the rules. You There are rules in Jamaica. A lot of rules in Jamaica. Are they being carried out? No, they're not. So you have to be mindful not to get discouraged when you return back to Jamaica. That, oh, when I was overseas, I could get this done within 10 minutes. Why did you return to Jamaica? If you're a Jamaican and you're returning back to Jamaica, you have to remember what you left in Jamaica. The banking system is still the same. You are, you're able to go to the ATM more now to, go get your cash. You can bank online. You can do all of that online. You can, pay all your bills online. But remember, you cannot compare the country that you decided to leave to go back to Jamaica. You cannot compare both countries. There must be a reason why you want to return back to Jamaica. There must be a reason why. So you have to focus on the reason why you return to Jamaica in the first place, or you decide to return to Jamaica. You have to focus. You cannot compare both countries. Then you're going to end up leaving Jamaica again. And as a young person, if you want to go to Jamaica to, migrate to Jamaica from your country, you're not from Jamaica, you're never born in Jamaica, you never set foot in Jamaica. I know you're going to take vacation to Jamaica also, and you're going to check out the country. Yes, you're going to. And you're going to go on the internet, and you're going to buy your property that you want. Yes, I know you're going to do that, and that's a great idea. But as a returning resident, do not be discouraged. Jamaica is not the Jamaica that you left. No. Jamaica had moved a shift, a big shift in Jamaica. When you migrate from Jamaica, there was no street here, there was no shopping center here, but you return to Jamaica, there's shopping center there. You know, the old building that was there is not there anymore. You're surprised, you're shocked because Jamaica had moved in a different direction. So you want to return to Jamaica, I would encourage you 100%. And if you're in Jamaica and you're watching this video, and you return to Jamaica, but you're not fitting into society as you expect you would fit in. Is it 2 years since you returned? Is it 5 years? And if it's over 5 years since you returned to Jamaica and you're not fitting in, stop. Stop and ask yourself, why did I return to Jamaica? What am I missing from the country that I migrate from Jamaica to this country? No, I'm missing this country. What are you missing now that you're in Jamaica? You're complaining that you're not fitting in into society in Jamaica. You're just uncomfortable. No, you have to look at everything. What are you missing? Are you missing the fast pace in that country? And Jamaica is fast paced now, but it's based upon where you're living. Do you want to live in a country? Do you want to live in a town? You know, it is based upon where you want to live. But if you're not fitting in and you're feeling like you're out of place in Jamaica, you have to stop and ask yourself, why did I decide to move to Jamaica again? Now, there must be a reason why you decided to move to Jamaica, to migrate to Jamaica. I would advise you to continue on the same path, the same energy that you had when you decide to move to Jamaica. And know that you're in Jamaica, you're complaining that you're not fitting into society. What are you not fitting into? What are you missing from the country that you left? What are you missing from your home country? There got to be something that had driven you to want to migrate to Jamaica or want to return to Jamaica. Whatever it is that motivate you to return to Jamaica or to move to Jamaica to become a permanent resident in Jamaica, because a lot of folks is going to Jamaica to get their citizenship. Of course, yes, they are. They're swearing in a lot of people in Jamaica. Yes, they are. People are leaving from all over the world, want to be a citizen of Jamaica. So if you decided that you're in Jamaica and you're not fitting, what are you not fitting in? What? Remember, Jamaica is not a clothes and it's not a shoe. So you cannot fit and expect to get snuggle up. No, it's not. Stop and look around you. What attract you? What motivate you to come to Jamaica? Why did you want to return to Jamaica? Why? You tell me why you want to return to Jamaica. Tell me why. Give me one good reason you want to return to Jamaica. And why did you decide to leave your country? and go to Jamaica, but you just feel like you're not fitting in, stop and ask yourself, why did I do this again? And see if you can use that to motivate you and have fun while you're in Jamaica. And when you decided to move to Jamaica and you have kids who never been to Jamaica before because you never take them to visit Jamaica, or you yourself never been to Jamaica before, if you only have enough funds to take a trip for yourself to go check the country out, that's fine. But you have to start expose the children because YouTube is there. Expose the children to the culture in Jamaica. You have to start, letting them know that you're gonna go to Jamaica. You gotta let them know that this is what happened in Jamaica. This is Jamaica. You gotta show them fun things. Show them the beach. You know, show them things that kids are gonna like, and see if you know that can also help to motivate the kids to be comfortable when they move to Jamaica with you. So there are a lot of things that you can find on the internet, you can look up on the internet. And also you have to be mindful that in Jamaica you drive on the left hand side.